in the city. The ANC Tshwane has made its own fit and proper financial assessment of the city financial performance using the AG reports and from what we know is taking place in the city's administration. This includes failure of the city to direct and control its fiscal plan and undertake fiduciary responsibilities. We have concluded that the city of Tshwane has dismally failed in its fiduciary duty of due diligence, skill and care as outlined in the King 4 on corporate governance. The city governance architecture is simply non-existent and frankly out of sync with acceptable governance and audit standards. The ANC Tshwane caucus is of the view that the city administration as a whole require an urgent intervention based on Section 139. An intervention required should be an eclectic process, which includes a multidisciplinary approach of experts in accounting, administration, financial management, and human capital. Anything less than the latter proposal will lead to collapse of the city's administration in 90 days. We would also like to request the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, to promulgate a special investigation unit probe and get to the bottom of the financial crisis and nightmares that are tormenting the city of Tshwane under the DA-EFF nefarious coalition government. 2, on the immediate suspension of the city manager. The ANC has been making a consistent call for the city manager to be suspended based on the findings of the AGSA with regards to the irregular and illegal appointment of Glad Africa and other corruption-related issues of pure malfeasance and maladministration in the city of Tshwane. The ANC has in October 2018 submitted a motion of no confidence on the city manager, which was rejected by the DA-EFF Speaker, Councillor Katlego Matebe, on the grounds of subjudicial rules. The ANC continued to raise the matter until the former executive mayor, Mr. Soli, poster boy of corruption Msimanga, tried to manipulate the suspension by deferring and diverting from the Glad Africa corruption scandal and bringing unrelated charges of insubordination as reasons for the city manager suspension. The ANC is on record refusing to suspend the city manager, Dr. Mweketi Musula, on the latter charges. We even voted against Mr. Soli, poster boy corruption Msimanga intention to suspend in open council. Today, under a different executive mayor, Councillor Stephen Gimmicks Mokhalapa, and set of circumstances, we would like to renew our call for the immediate suspension of the city manager pending finalization of investigation into Auditor General findings ranging from Glad Africa corruption scandal and other findings of the AGSA and monies that were not fully accounted for. The ANC makes this renewed call to the executive mayor to immediately draft a report of his suspension using council disciplinary rules and annexation of AGSA findings and include the Estawal Popular Bowman's report. The ANC calls on the Troika, which is the executive mayor, speaker and chief whip, to sit and arrange a special council by latest 10 July 2019 for a sitting to suspend the city manager with immediate effect. 3, the monumental failures of the DA-EFF nefarious coalition government. The ANC is convinced that the DA-EFF coalition government is unfit and not proper for governing the city. We have witnessed the DA-EFF coalition limping from one crisis to another. We are also dismally disappointed that the not-so-new executive mayor, Councillor Gimmicks Stevens Mokhalapa, has failed to remove the following group executives from council. 3.1, Mr. Previn Govender, the chief of emergency. The ANC has for at least 8 months exposed that Mr. Previn Govender lied about his qualifications and was not even supposed to have been appointed to his current position in the first place. The South African Qualifications Authority CEO has also expressed the position of his organization, confirming that Mr. Previn Govender lied about his qualifications. The SAQA, which is the South African Qualifications Authority, also confirmed that the city manager also lied when he said that SAQA has verified the qualifications of Tshwane senior executives. And that is on record. We call upon the executive mayor to immediately remedy the situation and swiftly remove Mr. Previn Govender from the city administration. 3.2, on Ms. Joanna Nkomo, Chief of Metro Police. The ANC is completely shocked that the not-so-new executive mayor, Councillor Stevens Gibbons Mokhalapa, has decided to overlook a glaring discrepancy in the continued presence of Ms. Joanna Nkomo in the system. Ms. Nkomo was irregularly appointed by Mr. Soli, post above corruption Simanga, without a diploma in traffic management, to be a chief of Metro Police, something that continued to boggle our minds as the ANC caucus. The council appointment requirement with regards to Metro Chief demands that a candidate should possess a diploma in traffic management as a basic requirement. Ms. Nkomo is still busy at the academy with Metro Police cadets, battling to finish a diploma in traffic management. This is horrible and shocking from the DA-EFF nefarious coalition government. To us, it's unethical and immoral, and there is no justification. Furthermore, Ms. Nkomo is alleged to be sitting at home with a paycheck that is worth millions, and she has never reported to the Office of Metro Police Department in the city of Tshwane for more than a year, if not more. We again call upon the executive mayor to immediately respond and suspend Ms. Nkomo out of the city administration. Thirdly, the appointment of DASO, that is Democratic Alliance Student Organization, activist in the office of the executive mayor without qualifications. The ANC has learned and we became numb upon hearing that the not-so-new executive mayor, Councillor Stevens Gimmicks Mukhalapa, has allegedly followed on the footsteps of his predecessor, Mr. Soli, post above corruption Simanga, and appointed staff from the DA in his office without experience and qualifications. The ANC calls on the executive mayor to refrain from such bad tendencies and re-advertise the positions so that all competently qualified candidates can apply and be considered. 4. On the way forward. The ANC has learned from the EFF press conference on the 2nd of July 2019 that it has unceremoniously decided to end its nefarious coalition government arrangements with the DA. We hear the reasons provided by Mr. Julius Malema, CIC, but we don't believe it or trust him in this regard. He is a known serial flip-flopper. The ANC is not surprised by the announcement or shocked by the uncouth statement from Mr. Julius Malema, CIC, and his EFF untrained soldiers. The ANC has no business to do with certain political divorce cases which were entered into based on unprincipled political and shaky foundations. In sum, this was a marriage of convenience and opportunism from political hell. The DA-EFF nefarious coalition government failed arrangements were long destined to become a big flop by all accounts. The DA is a liberal organization which has clear interest to defend white privilege at all costs, while the EFF is an undefined pseudo and quasi-radical Marxist phenomenon movement with no form like a political amoeba. The theoretical foundations that are used by its proponents to define the EFF have no concrete political locus standi or rigor. It is just a farce. The EFF is directionless. In the words of ANC's head of elections and Minister of Transport, Comrade Fikile Mbalula, I quote, "The EFF is freelancing," unquote. We would like to put it unequivocally clear that we don't believe news of the said divorce as stated by the EFF. Mr. Malema, the CIC, is known to waffle a lot, hoodwink unsuspecting followers, and obfuscate at every opportunity. The ANC remains the only logical choice for the majority of our people in Tshwane and all over the country, as it was shown by the election results of 8 May 2019. On the other hand, the DA has lost significant support in Tshwane from 43% in 2016 to 25% in 2019. Majority of white DA traditional voters mostly found in Tshwane because the highest concentration of white African and South Africans stay in the city of Tshwane. Decided to support the Freedom Front Plus due to the DA's inability to govern in key metropolitan municipality, and Tshwane is a prime example in that regard. The ANC remains sober in its approach to governance of the city of Tshwane, which had no outright winner during the 2016 local government elections. The DA is sitting at 43%, the ANC at 41%, and EFF at 11%. This means that Tshwane is a hung municipal council as it was declared by the IEC in 2016. The ANC has decided to put the interest of our people first, and we have taken a position to work with either of the parties, DA, EFF, and other small parties that put the interest of our people first. In the May 2019 Council, the ANC voted with the DA and others to approve a pro-poor budget that ensures continued service delivery in our constituencies. The EFF was the only party that voted against the 2019-20 budget. The ANC is in charge of 68 out of 107 wards in the city of Tshwane, followed by the DA with 39 wards, and the EFF has no ward under its management in the city of Tshwane. It was therefore logical to vote for a budget that addresses the needs of our constituencies. However, our vote for the budget must never be taken for granted or misconstrued as support for DA policies and agenda for white privilege. We voted for the budget to make sure that our constituencies are serviced and basic services are delivered to them. We remain in opposition benches and we are wide awake. We are effective and efficient. Our responsibility from today until voting day in August 2021 is to make sure that the DA remains true to deliver services to our people in townships and peri-urban areas of the city of Tshwane. Failure by the DA to adhere to budget and IDP priorities will be frowned upon, and the ANC will definitely protest strongly. The ANC agenda in the city of Tshwane is people-centered. We are not going to govern by hook or by crook, as we have witnessed with the spectacular failure of the DA-EFF nefarious coalition government arrangements that were driven by clientele politics of opportunism and subservience. We are not desperate for power and gratification associated with the sins of incumbency. I thank you. Okay, please just mention your name and then before I take the question.
I'm Antoinette Slavitt. I'm from Rapport newspaper. So I want to ask you about the electricity tariffs. The city took a draft budget to the public with a fixed charge of 56 Rand for residential users of electricity. Then in the approved budget it was 200 Rand. And then in the application to NERSA it was 120 Rand. And we haven't had a proper explanation from the city except for a bland denial. But the city went ahead and implemented without NERSA approval, and actually now nobody knows what the tariffs actually are. Can you comment on that, please?
Yes, I will. Okay, next question.
Are you going to bring a motion on no confidence against Gibbons Mokhala? Is there any concerted effort in also to bring that similar motion in the city of Johannesburg? I see there's some motivation from some ANC members like Pranay Mai for you guys to do such. And also, have you tried to put in that motion for the suspension of the city manager, Dr. Moketi Musoro? Thank you.
Okay. Pretoria News.
The big comments from the DA-led administration, Dr. Mike, that I said, this 50, what is this irregular expenditure, where as a result of the project that was initiated by the ANC administration, like the PAYU and the others. What's your comment on that?
Okay. Okay, is that all for now? Okay. Let me start first with the issue of tariffs. Yes, indeed, we saw different amounts at different places. When we requested clarity in council last month, we were told by typos that there were typing errors in this regard. We know the amount is 56 Rand. And then also there was a revision of the amounts in the farming community as well that were revised. So remember the ANC's opposition. So we're not directing and controlling the city administration. You will know that, as we mentioned in our statement, that this is controlled by the nefarious DA-EFF coalition that is now divorcing each other. We don't know. We don't enter in that space. So they have to clarify what they're talking about. But when we were in council, we were told that it's 56 Rands, and there were typos. The explanation given to the multi-party, all the political parties, that there was a typo, and so forth and so on. But we also know that NERSA has rejected, because the city is not allowed to apply the tariffs without approval by NERSA. I mean, all municipalities in the country. So we know that the city of Tshwane is not allowed. We call on the executive mayor to actually stop that, because it's plunging our people and residents into a untold crisis of proportions, because people budget the whole year for these things, and suddenly now the amount changes, the typos. I mean, it's more than 200% increases and so on. So we are calling on the city administration to get their ducks in a row cross their T's and dot their I's in everything. These are the things that we are talking about in our document here, that we are saying that we need immediate intervention, because it looks like the political administration and and also the administrative head, as we're asking for his suspension, we're not doing things properly in this city. I mean, the standards have been lowered and so on. That's why we're calling for an eclectic process, which is a multidisciplinary. Eclecticism means different disciplines coming together. So that's what we're asking for in the city of Tshwane, because we see that things are not going well. I mean, we were embarrassed also as opposition. After working with the DA, we knew the budget. I mean, it was a pro-poor budget we went through. Suddenly we see different numbers from what we got. That's why we asked. And we were told that there are typos. I mean, that is unacceptable for a capital city administration to have typos talking about things like that. So as the ANC, we are calling on the mayor. We are a political party, so we can only talk to a mayor. We don't interfere in the administration. We talk to the mayor, and the mayor must correct his people in the administration to correct these things and give clarity, because people need clarity. They have to be precise in terms of what are the numbers and so on, so that people can budget and are able to say they will pay these rates and taxes and so on time. So that was the issue. And the city manager, really, in October last year we had a motion. So the ANC put the motion. I think you know as the media, he knows, Pretoria News, you know yourself from the, so we put the motion, Samkelo. After we put the motion, the DA speaker, because this speaker has become the DA speaker. I mean, we spoke about her, that she spent $500,000 in the funeral of one councillor in Winterveld. She's doing what the DA is doing. I mean, we are on record saying that. And we have facts and numbers. We'll give it to you. The report was there. It was in council. This DA speaker said to us that no, the matter is sub judice, and according to general process, section 19 of the rules, she won't allow that. So we said to her, look, there's an issue of Let Africa. There's nothing to do with Soli and Musula in court fighting over their appointment, who must fire and appoint. Because that was in a labor court. Remember, the labor court is labor disputes. We talk about Let Africa corruption. We're not calling for the motion based on the labor dispute. No, we're not there. We're not even enter. So the issue that we're talking about, of course, is judicial rule. It's irrelevant in this regard. We are talking here about Let Africa, and we want to suspend on that. And then what did she do? She said no. They had, at the time, they were still infatuated with each other as the DA and EFF. They ruled down and they voted against us. But we kept on. We said we are not going to vote for anything that doesn't suspend the city manager based on the facts. Because we are the first ones on the 15th of August 2018 who said this guy must go. There's Let Africa, and we broke the story. The AG collaborated the story. That's why we say the ANC is vindicated in the statement. Because everything we alleged, based on evidence and the footwork that we had done, we knew the facts were wrong. So we said, and Soli even came out, you saw that. Soli sat with Mwekezi and said, I support my city manager, he's correct. Where is Soli now? In a week's time, the same city manager will go. So the ANC has been vindicated in all these things. We were correct from the beginning. We ran this city from 2000, we know it, we know the systems, we know the laws. So you can't play with us because you're infatuated with each other as the DA, EFF, do wrong things and expect us to say nothing. When we are wrong, we'll also accept as the ANC. So we are saying this city manager, we have put the motion. If and we also asking that the city manager voluntarily himself allowed to be suspended. Because the facts are there. The AG has a report. There's a Bowman's report that never came to council. Remember, council paid for the Bowman's report. All of us as parties voted for it. That there must be an investigation by this Bowman's Gilfillan law firm on the city manager. We want that report. Based on that report, that's why we said the annexure of suspension must be AG report on Let Africa and all the other corruption and the Bowman's report. So if there's the mayor is not going to do that, the ANC will definitely put the motion to remove the city manager. We'll do it. We have done it before. The point I'm making is that Soli then tried to play games, you know. He said, no, Musula wrote about him on Facebook, he undermines him, therefore he's associated. Soli, listen, Chief. Your Facebook excitement and everything, you've been excited for the past 4 years when you came to the political scene and environment. Your excitement about writing about each other on Facebook doesn't it doesn't equate to a suspension. We want to suspend on Great Africa because we raised, and everybody and the whole country knows, and the world, there's a Great Africa problem. So you can't obfuscate the issue of Great Africa and tell us about Facebook. So that's why we refused all the time, and because we knew this moment will come where we have a full AG report that will exonerate the ANC in this regard, and we are saying Mosola must move immediately. So Mokhalapa can't also come with other reasons. We are actually, as the ANC, calling on Mosola himself to recuse himself, to say, look, here's the AG report, it's factual, it's scientific, I've done wrong, I must step aside. He must do that himself. So as the ANC, that's the first thing we're asking, that the city manager must immediately himself write to the city or the council, he was appointed by council, and say, look, I'm allowing the suspension based on the AG report. We don't know the contents of Bowman's as we stand. We are saying as the ANC, today is the 4th of July. On the 10th, that council must sit. We're giving adequate time. By next week, Wednesday, we're giving them a chance. We're saying the Troika must sit. The chief whip, the speaker, the mayor must have an urgent meeting, write the report. We are being fair. They must write the report. The facts are there. The Auditor General has expressed himself. By the way, the Auditor General fell short of saying that this city must be put under administration. As the ANC, we have been very clear. But of Section 139, if you reverse your cameras and you reread the statements, you'll see for 9 consecutive months, we have said that this city is delinquent financially and it should be put under administration. So the things that we are calling is just renewed calls that we are doing. When we say Musula must go as Samgen, it's a renewed call based on different set of circumstances. We have proved, and we have put it here, that we're talking about a different set of circumstances. And the circumstances today than in October are different. There is no subjudicial issue that the speaker can raise now. There is no allegation, there's fact. ANC made the allegation, the AG proved it. Okay? So we will, the answer to you is that we will definitely put it, a motion if... the motion of no confidence on Mokhalapa. We as the ANC, like we have said in our statement, our people have put us as opposition. Our people didn't give us 50%. They said we will give you this and we will assess you. The ANC must allow itself to do self-correction in Tshwane of the things that happened in the past, and we have accepted them. We are accepting now that we want to sit in opposition benches as the African National Congress, do work. If MEC Maile, because we're requesting here on 1061B of the Municipal Structure Systems Act, that he must come and investigate. If they decide to put this city under financial intervention administration, we will work with that administrator. We want to work. We want to make sure that the service delivery. We're not going to allow palace politics of changing characters and so on to define service delivery. So as the ANC, our immediate request is that there must be investigation. The president must put SIU. National Treasury must intervene financially. We must bring an eclectic multidisciplinary team to come here in finance, in accounting. We must go back to corporate governance that is proper, fit and proper governance. We demanding those things because it doesn't matter if you put a different guy without a good set of skills. It's not going to change anything. We need to have an eclectic team that comes in, a multidisciplinary team to sort out the situation. The city is bleeding. That's what we must stop now. That's more urgent than the mayor changing. Look, the public knows that the DA and EFF has failed. They know that the Auditor General said so. So we can't prove something. It's like killing a dead snake. We beat the dead snake. The snake is dead. What we need now is to correct and stop the bleeding. So the snake is dead. The DA-EFF coalition is as good as dead. Quite frankly, we have expressed in our statement that we want that team to come and intervene and rescue the city. We are more concerned about rates and taxes, about service delivery. Let me put it to you this way. A city at the level of a metro like Tshwane, the second biggest in terms of embassies in the world, leave other things. it can't spend 106 million meant for housing. National Treasury had to take the money back. I mean, last week at council, we had to vote to correct our financial statements because National Treasury pulled out 106 million because it was not spent. The money is not spent. 2 billion rands of capital expenditure, it's not spent by 30th June 2019. Why should we worry about characters and individuals when our people can't get houses? When there is no road or robots maintenance in the city? Ask residents of Hammanskraal whether they're drinking clean water today. The DA promised for 2 years to sort out the clean water issue. Where is it? They returned 2 billion. Don't you think 2 billion will have put water in Hammanskraal? Don't you think so? Don't you think 106 million would have put some houses for people in informal settlements? So we are saying as the ANC, our position is very clear. We're not excited about going and putting the people should and always should be the center of our program. We don't have a selfish center to say we are going, we want a mayor and so on. No. We don't want the mayor on anything. We want to correct the city. At the right time, the people will vote against. They will then decide. The people must be the arbiter and the ones only giving space to decide who must run the city. Okay, so if EFF and DA are fighting, we don't enter. It's not our space. We are not there when the marriage from hell came. We can't be there at the divorce. We can cancel, however. We can give them counseling, like we're doing now. We are giving counseling. We are counseling these people. Remember, the ANC has been in a social contract in a normal marriage with people for the past 20 years in South Africa. The people continue to be happy with the marriage. We saw it on the 8th of May. So we can teach them one or two things. They've never been in a marriage. Theirs was a marriage of convenience and opportunism. That's why it broke its back in public. It's a marriage where our people lived in veritable hell. So we are saying that multidisciplinary must come somewhere. So that's our answer. The motions and things, those things are normally done. Even in previous, let me just put it on record. When we went for that motion last year, it's the EFF who came to the ANC and said, we don't want solely, let's do a motion. We just didn't wake up and say we want a motion. So the people must speak the truth. The truth is, we put it on record. If EFF has different information, I'm here live on record saying they must bring it. They must give us the minutes of the meeting, the venue where we ask them for motion of no confidence. They must show us. I want to see that. And quite frankly, there's none. They've just been lying. You see, there are two important variables in propaganda. It's propaganda and false propaganda. The EFF thrives on false propaganda. I'm repeating myself. The EFF should come out and say to me, ANC Tshwane, on this day, you asked for motion of no confidence at this meeting, we met at this place. We have never met them. They are the ones, we can tell you when they came to us and asked for that. So the ANC is not in some cover-up or some ambitious process to fight for mayors and so on. We want to correct the city. Lastly, on the issue raised by Pretoria News about irregular expenditure, let me put it to you. The DA in 2016, Musi Maimani, right? And Solim Simanga, they were running helter-skelter here. They said to people where they govern, they are clean. Tell me if I'm wrong. Say ANC, Coach, you are lying. They never said where they govern, they are clean. Say it to me now. Say it to me. No, I'm asking for facts. These people ran the whole country on a tirade of blue lies, saying where they govern, they are clean. Do you think in Tshwane we have clean governance? Is there clean governance? I'm asking. When you ask me questions, you must also take to account the things that are there as facts. The facts are as follows. From 2016 in August, the DA took over the city of Tshwane. The report is released now in July 2019. You say irregular expenditure is due to ANC. Is there logic in that? Is there logic, Samkelo? You took over in August 2016. Soli was wearing 3 pieces here, like a false prophet and false pastor. Going around with Musi, saying where they govern, they're clean. The ANC, let me put this on record, and it must be noted. The ANC in Tshwane has tiered a veil, a fake veil of secrecy and false propaganda that where the DA governs, they're clean. We have proved beyond reasonable doubt where the DA governs, they're worse. Actually, let me add, the three biggest metros in the country with the highest irregular expenditure are: number 1, Nelson Mandela Metro; number 2, City of Tshwane; number 3, City of Joburg. Is the ANC running? Do you have a mayor of the ANC in those 3 cities? But you are a journalist, you are better than me. You have more information. Is there a mayor of the ANC Nelson Mandela Metro? Do you know what is his name or her name? If you can't answer, in these 3 metros you have a mayor of the ANC. So why should the ANC take responsibility for something that the DA has created? So this notion that the DA, where they govern their clean, has been exposed and actually put into rubble. There is nothing like that. That was false prophecy from Solim Simanga with his 3-piece suits. There is nothing like that. So in summary, the irregular expenditure of the DA-EFF coalition government, they are the only ones that must take responsibility for it. What the ANC has done in 2013, pay what we are raising. Let me just correct something. The PEU contract was cancelled by a court. It was a contract of 2013. Why should we answer for PEU in 2019? Okay, this is also very critical in your answer. Irregular expenditure, it's proven by the AG. If you have a different view, you must go to court. If Tshwane believes that the AG is lying to say that they are the highest in irregular expenditure combined with unauthorized. Actually, Tshwane, on those 2, it's at 6.1 billion, so it's number 1 in the country. Let me reveal something that you already know, which is a secret, Samkel. $500 million of that expenditure was spent on one item, which is called Get Africa alone, without anything to show for. There's no clinic, there's no road, there's no house, or even an RDP house that we paid for when we paid more than $500 million to Let Africa in 6 months on an illegal contract. By the way, just for the record, we paid Let Africa long before, in August 2017, before the contract was signed in November. We had already started paying them. So who must take responsibility for this irregular and authorized expenditure? Is the ANC? Tell me, at that time, who was the mayor? Was Solim Simanga. So the mayor of the city of Tshwane was not Spooka Ramkhopa. So who must take responsibility? So the issue that they are raising, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's unheard of. I heard the MMC of the DA lying live on 702 with Ray. I was listening because I was the next speaker that they had called. She said that they have spent 75% of the budget. Go to the mayor and say he must give you the report or put it on the internet. Trying to spend only 50%. She told a big lie. That's why I talk about false propaganda of the DA. The DA is lying left, right, and center. And we have exposed that. So the answer to you is very simple. They must take responsibility. The DA-EFF coalition, okay, the divorce takes time, so you go through a round table and so forth. I saw that divorce was only on TV. Perhaps when they do a round table, they must say when they ultimately go different ways, they must accept the responsibility for the damage caused. Because they caused damage in the city. So as the ANC, we have been vindicated. We don't enter in their divorce issues. I have repeated that. So they must take responsibility alone as the DA-EFF. We know why the CIC said that they're divorcing. You know why? Because the 3 metros where they voted the DA is the highest in irregular expenditure. So they are distancing themselves from their crisis. But he was dealing with a different kettle of fish in us because we know the issues were clear. And we are very, very succinct in terms of how we understand the issues in local government. So he can't divorce himself now. They must go and sit on a round table as the DA-EFF, clarify, accept, come out to public and say, we have damaged Nelson Mandela, we have damaged city of Tshwane, we have damaged city of Johannesburg. And therefore we ask for forgiveness. If they don't do that, they can't obfuscate and lie about it. They can't hide it. To obfuscate means hiding the facts. They can't do that. So those were my answers. I don't know if there's a follow-up question before we close.
Good.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming to our press conference. We're really humbled and appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, you only arrived now. Okay, I'll answer your questions. So this is EWN.